Hiya and welcome to Ask GMBN Tech, the weekly Q&A session. If you have any questions about mountain bike tech, old or new, maybe you just want to identify something, please get involved in the comments down there. Don't forget you can also address questions specifically to myself, to Steve Jones, to Anna, to Chris, to Blake, to Rich, Martin, Neil, literally anyone, and we'll get them involved on the show. Get involved. Right, first question is from On Every Sunday, good name. How often should I replace my helmet? I wear it a lot and it's definitely taken some tumbles, but visually it looks fine inside. I've not had a proper crash and had to rely on it yet. Okay, so there's no fixed rule on when you should replace a helmet. There are general guidelines and they tend to be between 3 and 5 years. I would always err on the shorter side of that, especially if it's had a few tumbles, like hitting branches and you might have dropped your helmet, a few things like that. I tend to replace mine every 2 to 3 years. It's my personal preference. My helmets get a lot of use. They have had knocks from time to time, minor crashes, bashing my head on things, being a tall rider, that sort of thing. But even where you store your helmets counts. I store my helmets out of daylight, so there's no sort of excess UV light on them, no sunshine. You know, when you see stuff in shop windows, sometimes it fades if it's been in there for a long time. That's going to have an impact on the EPS and the EPP on the helmet. And even where it's been stored as a new helmet as well. So there is a window of time that a helmet can go off, sort of thing like that. And it depends on how it's been stored in the first place. If it's in a damp warehouse or a warehouse with an opaque roof and loads of sunlight's got to them, those things can affect the helmets as well. 3 to 5 years, slight common sense with it. If you think it's too old, replace it. It's not worth taking a chance. And just something I do with my helmets that I've used, I will always give products away to people that have got a bit of life in. If I've got like a pair of shoes that's still worthy, it's great. But with helmets, I don't want anyone to risk using a helmet that I've used that may be cracked that I've not seen. So I will always crush those and get those recycled. That's probably the only thing I would not pass on to anyone for that reason. Next question from John H. My question is, how much does mountain bike specific clothing affect your ride? I'm a student and enjoy riding my white hardtail cross-country and trail centres, but money's tight and mountain bike shorts and jerseys seem to be so expensive when I can just ride in cheap decathlon gear. Are they really that much better? Okay, well, for a jersey, no. All you need, a regular t-shirt, yeah, that's not going to be ideal, but any sort of technical bit of clothing, that could be a long sleeve base layer. There's a number of things that are suitable for multiple sports. So you get something that would be suitable for football, for running, anything, and it'll be fine. As long as you're happy with the cut of it when you're in a saddle, if the sleeves are long enough when you're in a saddle, things like that, it'll be fine for mountain biking. And the same, if you go and buy a base layer, get one that's suitable for walking, running, hiking, suitable for anything. You don't have to have a mountain bike specific one. There's loads of brands that make them, but it's up to you what you want to buy. Personally, with base layers, I always go for merino wool. The reason for that, I run on hot, I sweat a lot. Luckily, I'm not too smelly, but merino, one of the best things about it is you can wear it for a few days at a time and it will never smell. It's an amazing material, feels really nice against your skin. And you can get really good budget ones and you can get really good high-end ones depending on what you want to spend. So you can obviously save a bit of money there for something that works for many different sports. When it comes to shorts though, that's probably the thing that I wouldn't skimp on. Get yourself a good short liner that suits you. If you're unsure what's going to suit you, speak to your other fellow riders and see what they use. There's probably a common denominator there that you'll find. But the liner is the thing that's going to either give you pain or give you comfort. So make sure you get that right. And when it comes to the outer short, just think there's a few things at hand here. So the flex in a short really does affect your comfort when riding a bike compared to running, a pair of just jean shorts or something like that. Also, don't forget that on your regular shorts for the market that aren't designed for bikes, there's seams and stuff in places you don't want seams. Cycling, baggy shorts have been designed with that in mind. They'll have flexible panels and they also have abrasion areas on them. So A, for crashing or resisting the damage from crashes, and B, don't forget when you're sat on a saddle, especially a wet, muddy saddle, you're effectively wearing away your shorts. So if you get specific off-road shorts, they're going to do a much better job. So I would get generic jersey that's good for multiple sports, save your cash there. But with the shorts, that's the one thing I wouldn't skimp on. It doesn't mean you need to spend loads of money. Decathlon make great shorts. There's loads of companies out there. Madison, for example, do really good value shorts. There's several companies out there. And in fact, the ones on the GMBN store are great. Not doing a plug, but they are great value. You'll need to buy a liner separately to those. That's up to you to pick. But there you go. Okay, and then moving on from that, jackets. Now, I should mention this as well. yes, you can have a cheap waterproof jacket and it will be waterproof, but it will not be breathable in any way at all. You will boil in the bag, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a waterproof jacket sometimes. Now, to have a jacket that's breathable and it's waterproof and it's going to have a good cut and last long, that's going to cost you a bit. But sometimes that's one of the things worth buying. And if you're going to get one, get a good one, get one that you might want to use for other sports, like climbing, hiking, even daily wear, and just look after it. Don't wash it too often. Now, some jackets like Gore, they encourage you to wash them, but you still need to reproof them in order to, recoat the finish on the outside. The membrane will always be waterproof, but the fabrics that they sandwich it with, when they get saturated, it looks like your jacket's not waterproof and it hangs on you a bit funny. What you want is the water to run off that surface so it maintains its shape and sort of structure, sort of thing. So jackets, yeah, you're going to have to spend a bit of money if you want something that is genuinely waterproof, or just put up with getting wet. There we go. Next question from Keith123. I want to single speed my hardtail to freshen up my riding and learn something new. It's got vertical dropouts though. What's the best way to tension the chain and what gearing is best to go for? I ride cross country and it's rolling hills mainly. Only one nasty climb. Right, there's loads of chain tensioners on the market. I'm going to throw a few on screen. Here's the DMR one. Here's an On One version. Nice, cheap, good value. There's one from Gusset as well. Also good. If you want to go a little bit better, if you want to go for something a bit more high-end, here's one from Reverse Components. It looks more like a derailleur cage. It's heavily sprung. This one you can also use for other people with benefit on full suspension bikes because it allows for the chain growth. But yours is a rigid bike, so you don't need to. You'll also need a conversion kit, so 2 spacers and the actual rear sprocket. Here's a kit from Gusset. There's loads of options on the market. When it comes to gearing, 2-to-1 is about average. It's not necessarily what you have to run. So 3216 is a good gearing for a standard mountain bike single speed setup. Hopefully that helps. Okay, next question from Just Doug. Why did bar ends disappear? I've been riding my old cross country bike which has some Syncross bar ends on and they're so nice to use. Not sure, to be honest. They seem to disappear overnight. I can only imagine that it was due to the fact that cross-country courses changed. They used to be, a lot of fire road climbing, so you're really knuckling in on the climb. Nowadays, there's technical climbs, short, sharp bits. There's no time to be on a bar end. You're on the controls, you're changing gear, you're activating your dropper post. So I reckon that's probably why. But there's no reason why bar ends couldn't make a comeback for marathon-style riding where you need to change position, or trekking, bike packing, gravel riding. It would negate the need to have a drop bar, wouldn't it? I'm all for bar ends coming back. Next up's from Luke. What happens to the pro race bikes after a race season? Do they keep them or do they go back to the production company? Depends on the contract for that particular racer. Sometimes the bikes are part of their salary or their contract package, so they keep the bikes and they either keep them to ride, keep them for nostalgic reasons, or sell them. And you can, if you're lucky enough and you're quick enough, you can see pros selling their bikes at the end of the season. And snap up a deal. But if they've won a major race on it, don't expect that to ever see daylight. They're going to keep that bike so they can relive the memory, or perhaps have it on display somewhere. I'll do the same, to be honest. Northern Soul. I've had a bike in storage for about 3 years and the brakes don't work at all. Levers pulled to the bars. From what I can tell, there's no oil left in the system. Where's it all gone? I can't see any drips anywhere. The brakes are Hope Mono, if that helps. Okay, so there probably is some oil in there, but there's probably going to be loads of fluid in there. And after that amount of time, it's going to be contaminated. So dot fluid that will be on the inside of those Hope brakes, that is hygroscopic, so it ingests moisture. So through microscopic holes in the brake lines and everywhere, it's not anywhere that anything will leak through, but moisture can get in there. And the effect it has on your braking is it lowers the boiling temperature and you can get air in the system stuff. But what also that means is you can get corrosion on the inside of the lines, a whole number of things. The first thing I would do would be to try brake bleed, really. So flush the system through. And you'll know pretty quickly if things are going to work again. And the solid old brakes, I think you might be quite surprised, but if there is corrosion in there, you might need some new brake lines, you might need some new fittings. But the actual caliper and the lever in that, they should be absolutely fine. To be honest, I've got a good feeling for you. Give them a fresh bleed, and that's top to bottom on the Hope system. So you open a reservoir, top it up, open the bottom, pull the lever to the bar, close the bottom, release it until it drains. Make sure it doesn't drain all the way. Keep that fluid topped up on the lever there, and then hopefully they should be absolutely fine. Good luck. There we go. That is another ask. Done. Wow. That's a lot of questions to get through. Keep them coming. Love answering them.